Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Another Tuesday Night Live. This one is gonna be, I don't know, maybe it's gonna be an interesting one. A lot has happened, a lot has changed in the last week. So, if you have questions, definitely let them know what they are. This is definitely a listener, viewer supported show. So, the show goes where you want it to go. Ask your questions and I'll answer them. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Um, Let's see, we'll play a little intro video, but definitely put in the comments where you're watching from. I think that's always fun to see where people are. And we got a couple new things we're going to be doing tonight. So, I don't know, my fan on my MacBook Pro is like really going hard right now. So, we're going to get this intro going, and then I'll be right back. All right, what's up? Mandy's in the house. Happy Tuesday evening, everyone. Tony Bowen's here. Plots 33. Good evening from Illinois. Mandy, snowy Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, definitely some snow. Definitely some snow out there right now. Oh my gosh. I just got a text from. Check, check. Is this better now, Dave? Oh man, if that, maybe that's why I was hearing some crazy noise. Man, Dave might have just saved this whole live stream. He said that it sounded like the audio was coming from the MacBook Pro, and it was. So now the audio should be coming from this mic. Wow, I don't know. So could you guys even hear the music when that was playing? Shoot, I hope we didn't mess that whole thing up. But anyway, we should be good now. LeBron Rogers is here from snowy Fort Collins, Colorado. Tyler of Colorado Springs. Russell House from Easton, Pennsylvania. What's up? Russell, good to see you. Make the best of what's still around. City of big shoulders and calves. How's it going? Yeah, lots of background noise. Okay, so is it sounding better? It says everybody says it's better. Great. And no, there's no wall fans plugged in. That's just the fan on my MacBook Pro. Like, it is not happy right now. I don't really have anything. I should probably kill Google Chrome. That's probably what it is. But yeah, well, thank you guys for showing up. This is, like I said, listener supported, viewer supported. So put your questions down in the comments down below. We'll talk about all sorts of things: training, ultra running, running in general, trail running, races. There's some for me. If you've seen my last video or two, I'm not on the ultra red team anymore, which is it's very bittersweet. I kind of explained a lot of it in the video a couple days, like almost a week ago. But yeah, I felt like it was time to open some new doors. And so I am like very excited about trying out like all different kinds of shoes. Yeah, first ones up are the Saucony Triumph 18 and the Hoka Torrent 2. So having a really good time with that. I'm definitely missing like the Facebook group and some of my friends that were on the Ultra Red team. But yeah, let me know. I know like I've already got like a ton of requests of shoes to take a look at. I'm going to try and do it kind of slowly. Like I'm not going to like just dive in like crazy. I'm going to probably do like maybe like I'm going to try and do like maybe a pair of road shoes and a pair of trail shoes at a time, and then just keep going. Like maybe one or two a month. We'll see. Yeah, but, awesome. Thanks, Dave. Says, you're good now. Cool. All right. Well, let me get, a couple other people here. Yeah, LeBron says it's better. Dave for the win. What's up? Michael Daughtry is here from Erie, Pennsylvania. So, and LeBron says the shoe world is your oyster. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm just really excited to just check out a couple new brands. I mean, obviously like Nike, Saucony, Hoka, all the big ones, kind of looking at those, but then also excited to try out some that are like Topo Athletic. A lot of people have recommended that one. Ice Bug, I think is what it's called. So Atreyu. So yeah, really excited to check out some others as well. But first, I kind of always want to shout this out, and sometimes it happens at the end, but I definitely wanted to do it at the beginning this time. But I wanted to shout out some new members from this past week. So thank you guys, Blake Harvard, Aaron Townsend, and Sandy Garcia. Thank you guys so much for becoming members of the channel. That's so awesome. That's just like an awesome way to support me and like what I'm doing here on YouTube. It's just like, it's just so awesome. I can't believe that, you know, anybody would really do so. I mean, I am like a Patreon supporter and a YouTube member on some other channels and stuff too. So it is a really cool thing to do, but thank you guys so much. Definitely wanted to shout you guys out, before I forgot. So what's up? John Truelove is here from Terre Haute, Indiana. How's it going, man? Really excited for what we might be doing the second weekend in May. Moose Prisby's here. Also follows Dave as well. Awesome. Dave says, I'm going to need your opinion on the Hoka Clifton 7s. Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to try those out. I know, coming from Ultra, things are going to be really kind of interesting for a while, because of the toe box and obviously zero drop. I'm finding that it's not so bad going from zero drop to a drop, because it's just like you're actually like shortening your calf and your Achilles. You're putting less stress on all of them. So there's like obviously some structural things that are going on with your foot that are changing, that you need to get used to, but it's really not that big of an adjustment. I'm fine. I think the biggest adjustment. What's up, Moose Prisby? Welcome, new member. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you. That's really, really cool. But yeah, so I'm finding that it's not that big of an issue. I think going the opposite direction, going from maybe like something like that has a 7 or 8 millimeter drop to a zero drop shoe does take a lot more time to get used to it, because you're lengthening the calf and you're lengthening all of the connecting tissue and everything in there. And it's just going to take some time to get used to that. But yeah, I'm having fun with it. Sarah O's here. Good evening from San Francisco. Really excited to hear about how your shoe experience is going. Yeah. So I've got like 15 miles in the Saucony Triumph 18 road shoes, and I've got 10 miles in the Hoka Torrent 2s so far. Actually, I had a really, really good day yesterday. Like video I posted Monday morning just talking about like my weekly training. Last week was just kind of a rough week. There's so much external stress going on from work and everything. Just really made training difficult to make happen. So I like kind of missed some of my goals. I was really, really close with the climbing goal. Was only off by like 2,500 feet. For those of you that don't know, I'm shooting for 55 miles and 17,000 feet of climbing per week on average. And within there, I'm doing like different workouts from day to day. Some higher intensity stuff, some lower intensity stuff. But trying to really, since I'm training for a race that has such a ridiculous amount of vertical gain, I feel like I really need to give it, adjust my training to give it the proper respect, I guess, and really just show up prepared. And I know it's going to be, living in Indiana, it's going to be difficult to make that happen. So got a treadmill and working. Obviously, I'm going to be getting the miles in, and I'm going to be getting the vertical gain in. The biggest thing, and tons of you have reached out and brought this up, and the biggest problem is going to be training the descent. And I mean, there's just no way around it. Like, it's going to be the weak spot in my training because it's not possible for me to. Now we'll see, like, once the days start getting longer, maybe I'll, as we get closer to the race, we'll just see how things work out. I might be able to maybe do some more like early morning trail runs. I don't know, but it's just, a couple years ago, I did a lot of my runs at night in the evening and ended up missing out on a lot of family time. I'm just not going to do that anymore. And just the way my day job is set up, I only have like exactly an hour where I can really do anything. So it kind of either is going to have to happen early morning, or it's just going to be like a lunch run. So depending on what happens with, the spring as we get closer to the race, maybe I get, like really excited about waking up at like 4:00 in the morning or something and going for trail runs. Maybe I'll be able to get more descent training in that way. But any of the good trails to go to, it's like a 20-minute drive each way. Like, I can get to trails in less time, but nothing that has any climbing involved. So that's kind of like where I am. And I'm okay with that because I'm doing the best with what I have. And obviously, if I was a professional athlete and this was my job, I probably wouldn't be living in Indiana. But I would also make a much bigger effort to make sure that this happened. I would, probably maybe have a part-time job instead of a day job. But it's not the case. So I'm making the best with what I have, and I'm going to show up to the starting line of the Cruel Jewel with, plenty of miles in my training and plenty of uphill in my training, and as much downhill as absolutely possible. So as we get closer, like, I'm going to be able to knock out a lot of these bigger workouts on the weekends a lot quicker too. Like, I was really surprised with myself how quickly I was able to get the 5,000 feet on Saturday. And I know I haven't posted that video yet. I still haven't finished editing it, but the run on Saturday, I got 5,000 feet of ascent and descent over the course of 10 miles. So 500 feet per mile. And it took me about just over 3 hours, like 3 hours and 20 minutes to make that happen. And I was pushing myself, but I wasn't pushing myself as hard as I could have. And so I'll be interested to see as we get like more into the spring and just a little bit better weather, like how much I am able to push myself, and like days where I go out and I just get, can I get 10,000 feet in 6 hours? Can I get 15,000 feet in a day? I'm really, really excited to see like how my training is going to look different this year than it ever has. And just being able to show up to a start line in much better shape, much better prepared for the type of race that it's going to be. So, let's take a couple questions. LeBron says, I made the transition from ultra to speed goats and had no problem going through the adjustment. Yeah, awesome. Great. Moose Prisby, there you go. Awesome. Thank you, man. Ray Blakely, such a padded shoe, like a lot of Hoka's interest me. Most of my pairs have had a bit more what felt like control, and I've never tried one with so much cushion. Yeah, nice. Yeah. I mean, Hoka's like, the funny thing is, what I'm kind of realizing is going from Ultra to exploring some of these other brands is that Ultra had a lot of shoes that were like, a lot of people would consider max cushion. Like the Saucony Triumph 18s, they have 26 millimeters stack height in the front, and that's basically the same as the Torin. And the Torin Plush had a few extra, like they had like 27 or 28. So like I've been running in the Torins and the Torin Plush like all the time, and a lot of people consider the Saucony's Triumphs a max cushion shoe, and the heel is like 32. So that is, I mean, that is pretty thick. But yeah, I'm kind of realizing that like Ultras were pretty, the stack heights were pretty high on some of those, and especially the Olympus. And I knew that was, I mean, obviously that's a max cushion shoe, but I think a lot of, yeah, I mean, the Torin was like, some people might even consider that like more max cushion. But Tony says, if you go to a Hoka road shoe, and jump on the Mach 4, it comes out in March, so can join in fresh with other people who didn't get this shoe early for review. Nice. Arguably better than the Clifton 7. Awesome. Mach 4. I'll have to go back and write that down. John says, I'm very interested in your opinion of the toe box of various shoes compared to Ultra. I had issues with black toe, sore toes, and Saucony. Yeah, that's something that I am also really fascinated to see what happens. The first run that I did in the Sauconys, I noticed like the last like 100 yards before I got back to my house. So it was like, I don't know if it was something about like my brain knew I was done, and so my form changed possibly, but like the last 100 meters, like before my house, like my big toe, like one of the joints did feel like it was like, oh, like that's uncomfortable. But other than that, it just felt like I had got my shoes much tighter. Like it didn't really bother me that much. And I think maybe I'm lucky. Like maybe I, maybe I have like more like narrow feet or more average feet, I guess. Because I always did feel like with certain models of Ultras, I just kind of did feel like I was swimming around in the toe box, but the Hokas were definitely tight. But again, like within a couple miles, like I got used to it. So I don't know. But that's the other thing is like, I've never tried to run an Ultra in anything other than Ultras. Every single Ultra marathon I've ran has been in a pair of Ultra shoes. Yeah. Liam, sorry I'm late. No problem, man. Dave Sack says, hello all. Jeff, what's up? Jeff, oh my gosh. Okay, so if you're still watching, thank you so much for joining. I meant to like Instagram story you, but I totally forgot. But I just watched the most recent video that you posted about the, like, was it the Backbone Trail or something? Was that I just watched the whole thing on the treadmill, and it was amazing. Like, thank you for putting that together. That was such a good video. But let me pull that comment back up here. You said, Stephanie Case mostly trained for Tour de Champs on the treadmill in Afghanistan. Whoa. But she did make a couple weekend trips to the Alps to train. Sometimes you got to work with what you have. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's awesome. Yo-Yo on the trail. Hello from New York City. I've been using the Cascadias, now 14s, for around 6 years. Do you plan to try Brooks? Yes. Really excited to try some Brooks. They've really changed. Like 5 years ago, when they were a different shoe company. Like they've changed quite a bit in the last couple of years. So I'm excited to try them out. Yeah, Plot says, glad I'm not the only one dreaming of spring training runs. The snow and ice here is getting old. Marisol, what's up? Jeff says, Rockwall. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But that was awesome. I mean, guys, if you can see, if you can click on this guy's name, if there's a link in the chat, like click on Jeff's, go to his channel. He's got some really, really good stuff. So there was one comment that I wanted to jump back to. Make the best of what's around. Will you share your best ultra running hallucination story? So my I only hallucinated during one race, and that was the Grindstone 100, my first 100. And the race started at 6 p.m. And so we went through like a whole night. It was in October in Virginia. So we had about 30 minutes of light, and then it got dark, and we ran through the night. And then the next day ran all day. And then I was still running when the sun went down the next night. Because this is a hard race. And so the second night, I started having like all kinds of hallucinations. And the biggest problem was that on Friday, Thursday night into Friday, slept in a tent because this place was like 2 hours away from any hotels. And I just really wanted to get the full experience. Most people camped out at the campground where the race started and ended. So I wanted to get the full experience. So we camped there. But then, of course, like the sun comes up at like whatever, 7 or 7:30 or something. And so your tent gets all bright and gets hot in there and you can't sleep. So I was pretty much up, 7 or 8 o'clock, and then tried to just stay chill the whole day, but was really awake for like a full day before the race started, and then was up all night, all day the next day, and then into the next day or the next night. And so the hallucinations, they were very, very mild. Like I started seeing like all these like acorns on the trail, but I thought that they were peanut M&Ms. And I was also really hungry at night. And so I kept like looking down at them and thinking like, oh my gosh, like someone was just carrying like this party-sized bag of M&Ms and spilled them all over the trail. And then like I bent over to try and like pick up one, and it was just an acorn. But they were all different colors, and I vividly saw the M's on all of them. And then later, probably the one that was maybe the most, there's another one after this. The one that was probably maybe the most dangerous had I been alone. I was with a pacer at this time, but we were climbing up one of the mountains, and like with these mountains are like 2,000 or 3,000 foot climbs. So you're climbing up them for, in my case, it was like an hour or two, maybe more. But off the ridge, like there's a drop off, and then just in the blackness of the night, I could just see following us for a long time, a cabin with like 2 windows and a door right in the middle. And like the door kept like kind of opening and kind of closing, but it was just like floating next to the trail. And it was like calling me to like jump off the trail, I think. I don't know what was going on, but that was like really, really vivid, and it lasted forever. And I kept asking my pacer, I was like, what's happening? Like, is there a cloud over there? Like, am I seeing, like, what am I seeing? And then, it was just nothing. It was just hallucination. Then the scariest one was, I actually thought I saw a person. We were crossing these train tracks, and about like 50 yards down the train tracks, there was like this, I don't know, like, little tiny building with a window. And I think I was seeing my own reflection in it, of my headlamp. But it just looked like there was a person popping up and waving at me, and then like ducking down, and then popping up and waving and ducking down. And I stood there like frozen on the train tracks while my pacer was like going and started going up the trail. And he's like, what is going on? And I'm like, there's somebody in that building waving. And then he came back, and we like both shining our headlights on it. And like, I kept seeing it, and he was like, there's nobody there. Like, let's go. So yeah, those were all like really close together within a couple hours, but I had probably been up for, I don't know, at that point, like going on like close to 45 hours or something. Cause I was like late into the night on the second night. And then I did have one hallucination at Mohican, but it was totally boring and weird. It was just like way off into the woods. I thought I saw this big white building, and I just couldn't tell what it was, but I think it was just like the sun coming through the trees, and my brain was trying to put stuff together. But yeah, so there you go. I didn't have any hallucinations at the Hallucination 100, which was very disappointing. I did not get my money's worth at that race. And I didn't have any hallucinations at No Business. So I don't know. Maybe I just need to try harder. Christy Wiley, what's up? Yay, made it from PA, Pennsylvania. LeBron Rogers says, still trying to get into Barkley. Yeah, didn't get in this year. Yeah, no problem, man. Jeff, again, great work. Platz 33, I've been binging Jeff's videos this past week. Spectacular footage and scenery. Absolutely. Michael with the emoji. Steve B says, hi from Lima, Ohio, Ryan. Too fun about the acorns. Yeah. Quick question. I'm 8 weeks from a backyard ultra. ITBS has set in. Oh, shoot. Yeah. What's your best advice for it? So there is, you can just like search Amazon for it. There is a IT band strap that is pretty common, and it's very simple. So it's like, you can probably get any of them that show up, but it's just like a strap that you get on real tight, like above your knee. And it's got this little extra piece of padding that pushes into your IT band and kind of stabilizes it. That helped me get through the Hallucination 100 and most of the Mohican 100, and quite a bit of Kettle too, because that was the year that I was really struggling with this. And I was going to, like, I would definitely recommend going to physical therapy too, because they can really give you like professional advice with like proper stretches and warm-up routines. That's another big thing, is making sure that you're warming up really good before any of your runs. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. It's a lot of stretching of your like hips and glutes. You're trying to lengthen that chain is what you're trying to do to reduce the stress on it. But I mean, it depends. Like, this is not advice at all, but like once I found a warm-up routine, like it was really debilitating. Like I felt like it stopped me in my tracks, like several runs. But then once I started going to physical therapy and started learning how to work through it, get my stretches down and my warm-ups down, and once I got this band, it became less of something that stopped me from running and more of just like an annoyance, until eventually it went away. And it went away in probably, like, I would say probably like 6 to 8 weeks. So I would jump on it now and start doing a whole lot of stretches with your hips and glutes, lengthen that chain, and then try to find a strap. And that'll help. But yeah, I don't know. The doctor, like, yeah, I would get professional. I don't want to give any more advice than that. Drew says, Big Chill was awesome, Jeff. Yeah, we watched it as a family. Awesome. Steve B says, Mohican, I'm registered for the 100 this year. You should come run it this year. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Is that in June again? That would be cool. I do want to find a summer race. I don't know if, I don't know. Maybe July, August, something like that. Because, yeah, it's going to be a busy year. Oh, shoot. Jeff says he hoped to be crewing at Barkley this year, but doesn't look like the border will allow it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one race that, well, any race, obviously, but the Barkley, like, for some of those people that have been on the wait list for years, or, been trying to apply for years, and all of a sudden, like, if it's their time and they can't get across the border, like, I don't know, but you're going to see that at Western States, you're going to see that at Hard Rock, you're going to see that everywhere. So this is going to be a tough year because there's going to be a lot of races opening up. There's going to be a lot of confusion about getting in and out of the country everywhere. Probably Europe too, like UTMB, CCC, all that. I would guess that it's going to be difficult. I would guess there's going to be a lot of people dropping out right before the race, and lots of wait lists getting going fast. That'd be my guess. All right. Giving serious consideration to doing Gary Robbins' 4x4x48 challenge. Am I nuts? Yeah, what is that? I've heard of something like that. Mohican is Father's Day weekend. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, sometime in June. That's like right before Western States too. So I don't know. I would love to go back and do Mohican again, but I don't think this year. Probably not this year. Definitely doing Cruel Jewel and Indiana Trail 100. I'm signed up for both of those. I'm also signed up for the OPSF 50/50, which I'm really excited about doing because it's a race, but not excited about how hard and messed up it's going to be. But yeah, I mean, if this race that I've got coming up in March, it's at the end of March. It's in this place called Owen Putnam State Forest, and it's got just like it's like the mud is just absolutely insane. It's got these like natural springs areas that just like kind of like, even if it's been dry for like a couple weeks, it just like bubbles up with water, and it's just like really hard to like get around. Oh, there we go. There's an animation going. I'm putting some extra animations in this, trying to spice up this live stream. Some of them will play like after timers. Sweet. Cool. Yeah, go to Strava, check out the Ryan Clayton YouTube community, and then go check out Discord too. I always forget to mention those two things. So yeah. But yeah, OPSF 50/50. It's not 50/50 anymore this year because they canceled the 50 miler, but it's the 50K, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm gonna try and give it a good shot, even though it is so muddy. Like that's the one thing where it's kind of like, I mean, it's just a whole lot is going to depend on just how muddy it is. Oh my gosh, yeah. Christy Wiley says Jim Walmsley's attempt at 100K world record this last weekend was amazing. That was absolutely crazy. I was watching that. It was kind of like, I mean, it was amazing coverage. Like some of the best. I mean, it was a little bit easier than a trail race, obviously. But I mean, it was on par with like those big marathon race coverages. But man, that was excruciating. If any of you guys don't know, Hoka put on, I don't know exactly what it was called, but it was pretty much an attempt to see if any of their athletes could break the 100K world record. I don't know if there was more distance. I think it was just 100K. But there was a few like technicalities in order to make that happen. You couldn't have, like, you could have pacers, but they had to start the race as well, like at the beginning. So I think they used like world major marathon rules or something like that, in order to make sure it would be legit if anybody did break the record, unlike like the Breaking 2, the Nike world record, or that wasn't actually possible to be a world record because Kipchoge had people coming in and out of the race pacing him, and that's like not allowed with major marathon rules and stuff. So yeah, he had, I mean, obviously like he stuck with the pack for a long time. And I was watching Camille too, like really, really interested to see what she's going to do. And then she had to pull out with a hip problem, but she dropped her pacer. Jim Walmsley dropped his pacer. And man, those last couple miles were just excruciating to watch. I mean, he was averaging like right at 6-minute pace basically for 100 kilometers, 6-minute mile pace for 62 miles, whatever that is. Yeah, that's so fast, just over 6 hours. And then he missed the world record by 9 seconds, but he crushed the American record, which is really awesome to see. CVB, can't wait to watch your Cruel Jewel race video. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully it's a good one. That's a funny thing about YouTube is that, like myself, like I do a lot of like vlogging and race videos and stuff like that. And I mean, you have no idea what's going to happen. Like before you start the race, you have no idea. Like, am I going to get hurt? Am I going to DNF? Am I going to get sick? Am I going to, do great and finish the race? Is there going to be anything that goes wrong? Or is it just going to be super boring? So yeah, it's like, I mean, obviously my main focus is just to go and do this race and, just like take it seriously, make it happen, just get out there, and have fun. Honestly, like I want to experience, Georgia mountains. I want to get out there and just test myself against that course. I mean, I've just heard like so many people I know have gone down there and either attempted it or finished it, but have just come back saying that it's just like a beast. And I want to go see what that's all about, and ready to be humbled by it. Not going there expecting to like have a breeze through it or be top 10 or anything like that. Like I'm going there expecting to be absolutely crushed. And I'm excited for that. I don't know. That's kind of weird, right? Yeah, David Anderson says Jim literally hit a fence and then still. Yeah, if you didn't see that, he was like rounding one of the corners or something, and he clipped the fence and got this big like gash in his shoulder. It was like blood everywhere, and his glove, like, yeah, it was crazy. Okay, so Plus 33 says, and I believe this is David Goggins' challenge. Somebody else said that. 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. That is a really cool challenge. That would be fun. I think Billy Yang did a video on that a couple months ago. I think he got bored one day and was just like, I'm going to try this. But yeah, that would be really cool. Cause like, so 4 miles every 4 hours. So you'd definitely be able to sleep. I mean, you're only going to be running for, less than a quarter of the time. The only problem is you're not ever going to get any good sleep. So that'd be cool. I wonder, man, we should all try that together. That would be funny. We pick a weekend and, everybody does it. Who's in? Seatown fan says, I want to get to the point of running 1 5K around 19 minutes. 20 consecutive 5Ks is insane at that pace. Yeah, that's just crazy. Liam says, are you interested in running the Boston Marathon or any of the other major marathons? Good question. I am interested. It's not something that's high on the priority list of like for my running, for my, like I'm not like, I like running on the roads. But I don't know how I would handle training for a road marathon. I just need to be on the trails a lot. And I'm also wired to, I'm drawn to things that like really scare me. And like I could probably get in that right mindset again, as far as like pushing myself physically, and testing the boundaries there, and get into that kind of like the fear aspect of that, and like be energized by that. Because I mean, I spent years doing triathlons, and that's what that's all about, is like it's pushing the limits. Yeah, I mean, the only road marathon I've ever ran was at the end of the Ironman Louisville. But I think that would be kind of cool. Like I probably won't ever make it to any of those majors, because I'm not a fast enough road runner right now, and I don't know if I ever could be at this point in life. Maybe I could, I don't know. But man, something about 100 milers going through the mountains, that's just like, that's what drives me right now. And that's where I am right now. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like today. I don't know what it'll look like next couple years, but I think it'd be really fun to do one of those big, huge races where it's like 30 or 35,000 people. That would be a fun experience. But yeah, right now I'm all about being in the woods for 24 to 48 hours or more, depending on how long the race is. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, a bunch of people saying that they would be in on the 4x4x48. Nice. That's awesome. Cool. Oh, that would be cool. Tony has an idea. It would be cool to have video clips of it edited together at the end. Yeah, kind of like what Ginger Runner does for his, I don't know what that is, like weekend something run. So Jake has a question. Hey Ryan, I run cross country and track at the Coast Guard Academy and recently tested positive for COVID. Oh man, sorry to hear that, Jake. Currently going through the NCAA COVID return to play protocol. How would you get back into training? Oh man, that's a question for your doctor, I think. I would say, yeah, your doctor and your coaches. I mean, this is so new. Like, people do not know what's going on with getting back, especially at getting back to being like competitive at a high level. I mean, I know somebody that, I mean, there's so much going on. Like there's so many like different side effects and stuff. Like I know a person that had COVID and now they've got, I'm not going to say what the condition is, but there's like a heart condition, and I don't know if it's for life or what. But this person is an athlete and can't be right now until they figure out what's going on. So I don't know. I would say that, just make sure you're checking in with your doctor, make sure you're checking in with your coach. And I mean, it's still so new. But I would say if they did completely clear you to return, I mean, you're kind of just starting from scratch, and you're starting with, just like easy runs, getting back into it. You're trying to, you can approach it different ways, like targeting your aerobic base first. That's how I would do it, and just kind of get back into, like, make sure your form is really good, especially if you've taken a considerable amount of time off. But yeah, that's tough. Good luck, Jake. Drew Heinlein says Goggins does it on the weekend of March 5th. Interesting. That'd be kind of cool. Seatown fan says, will your shoe reviews be focused on trail shoes? I think I'm going to do like half and half. That's my plan right now, because I run, a lot of miles in road shoes. And so there's going to be a lot of, I think it's probably going to be half and half. I think, like, starting off, what I'm kind of looking at is like maybe one road shoe and one trail shoe a month. And if I mean, I'm obviously going to hit like 50 miles and both of them quicker than that. So if things start working out and like people are liking it and I'm enjoying it, most importantly, like if it's, if it's fun to do, then maybe I'll do more than one of each a month. But we're just I'm really, really excited about this. Like it feels like this completely new, like breath of life breathed into YouTube, for me. Just really, I'm really, really excited about it. And, the first couple reviews or whatever, there'll be things I get wrong and things that, like I'll be figuring out like, how do I want to approach this? Like I've been really trying to think. So this would be like interesting for you. Like, do you guys like, I know a lot of people, have, like a scoring system. And I don't know if I want to do something like that or what, but, like a lot of the people that do shoe reviews have like a scoring system. And I don't know, personally, I think the way I want to do it, is maybe have something like that, but I want to focus more on like how the shoe, like how you use it. Like, is it working out like what it's made for? Is it accomplishing that? Is it fun to run in? Like, does it make you want to go out and run? I probably won't be focusing like super heavily on like tons of stats and like maybe like I will compare them and stuff and like comparing, because obviously things like weight matter, things like stack height matter, like all that kind of stats, like what type of midsole, like what's the material made out of, all of that really does matter. So I'll go over all of that, but I'm kind of thinking more like trying to be more big picture with them and focus more on like if you buy this shoe, like how are you going to use it? Like what's its best use? And kind of go from there. But I'm kind of just like still brainstorming everything. So we'll see. Arlene says, would you ever do a stage race like Cape Wrath Ultra or Marathon des Sables? Yes, I would love to. That's something that seems really, really fun. I've actually like, something that's also been along those same lines, that I would love to do would be to like fast pack like a long trail or something. Like one of my dreams is to fast pack the John Muir Trail and run as much as possible. But like just carry everything you need for a couple days. I mean, something like John Muir Trail is like over 200 miles. So you'd have to have like food along the way, like to pick up, but that can be arranged. But like have your, whether it's a tent or whatever, like on your back, and just go for it and just have fun. Like 30, 40 miles a day or something like that. I think that would be an absolute blast. But yeah, some of those stage races, are like super expensive as well. So that might be a reason why I would do something more like on my own or with a couple people. But yeah, Marathon des Sables looks awesome. I haven't actually heard of Cape Wrath Ultra. Maybe I have and just don't recognize it. But yeah, those races look awesome. What's your favorite mid layer for cool days? So cool for me, I consider cool like in the 40s or something. Like if the weather's in the 40s, I'll just wear like kind of like a form-fitted shirt, like an Under Armour or something like that, and like a long sleeve like tech tee or something. Once it starts getting closer to freezing, like that's when I'll put on a jacket or something. Jeff says, stage racing are amazing, totally different experience. Yeah. That would be something that would be like super cool. I've watched a couple documentaries. There's one really good one about Marathon des Sables on Netflix, I think. Maybe it was YouTube. But that would be like a completely different challenge. Being in the desert, like the mileage at that race actually isn't that bad for an ultra runner, but I think running through the desert would be like, that's like, that makes it like way harder. All the sand and the heat and the sun, I mean, that just takes it out of you. But oh yeah, Jeff says Amazon Prime has a few. Yeah, maybe that's where I saw. There's one really good one. I can't think of the name of it. But yeah. Cool. What else you guys got? It's getting close to an hour, so I'm going to wrap up soon. But yeah. Hope you guys are doing well. Like, this week has been, I don't know if I think I kind of started mentioning this. But yeah, like last week's training was really rough. Like, things just didn't go the way I wanted to. But yesterday, I was really able, like, I had a really great day and totally bounced back and went outside. It was like 25 degrees, but I was like, I'm running outside today. Just went out on the roads and did a really fun, like, 7-miler, picked up the pace a little bit. That run was kind of focusing on focusing on kind of like the middle section, trying to target like my zone 3 power, and like just really had a good run, and it was just really fun. And then got back, and as soon as I got back, got right on the treadmill and just hiked for like almost an hour as well. Got 2,000 feet of gain, and so that was like a really good day. I was able to like stack up like 10 miles right on Monday. So that was good. And then today was pretty good too. Like, nothing super special. I think it was 5 miles and 2,000 feet or something on the treadmill. Just kind of doing, like mile repeats. That's one thing that, kind of my go-to on the treadmill right now is trying to kind of mimic, what it's like to hike up 1,000 or 2,000 feet, because that's what a lot of the climbs are going to be in this race, Cruel Jewel. So it's going to be like, you're going to be hiking for an hour and a half, possibly. And so just kind of trying to get into that mindset. And so doing some repeats, like climbing 1,000 feet, running a mile, climbing 1,000 feet, running a mile, or like running a mile, then climbing 2,000 feet and then running a mile. So trying to do more like extended uphills, because I don't have that opportunity here in Indiana. I think the biggest hill I've been able to find is like 140 feet. And so, you're up in a couple minutes. But some of these climbs at Cruel Jewel are going to be, a couple thousand feet, and it's going to take forever. Okay, a couple more questions just poured in. Carlos Diaz says, any tips on trying to integrate nutrition, drinks into a training schedule? So like, if you mean like during your run, like it's different for everybody, but you just have to start somewhere and then adjust, like higher or lower. I would say my advice to everyone is, and I'm not affiliated with any nutrition companies anymore, so I'm totally like, I'm saying what I think. I think for me, the thing that works best, and what I always recommend people to start off doing, is to like drink your what am I saying? Drink your water, eat your nutrition. And so like I always have like most of my fluids are pretty much just water, or maybe there's a little bit of electrolyte in there, or maybe it's like, maybe there's some calories, like maybe it's a little bit, but most of the calories I try to focus on with either gels or real food. That makes it so much easier to plan, and it makes it so much easier to transition through the year from running in the cold to running in the heat. Because if you are someone that gets most or all of your calories from something like Tailwind or something, you're gonna have problems going from season to season, because in the winter you're not going to want to drink that much, but you're going to be needing to get calories in, versus in the summer you're going to be having to drink a ton more, and you're also going to be needing to get calories in, but it's going to be like it's going to be watered down, or maybe you're going to be eating too much. So the easiest way to plan from the start, if you've never really tried to target this before, is to drink your hydration and eat your nutrition. And so plan for drinking to thirst. And then if you've realized that, okay, I haven't drank in a while, then, drink a little bit. If you're in an ultra, like, pay attention to how often you're going to the bathroom. That helps as well. Like, if you notice, it's been a couple hours and I haven't needed to relieve myself, drink some. But then your nutrition, I would always start with anywhere in between. Like, if you're maybe a smaller person, like maybe 150 to 200 calories. If you're if you're like taller, maybe more body mass, maybe like start with 200 to 250 calories per hour. It's an easy way to think about it, because on the back of every gel or anything you bring along, it says how many calories there is. Some people count carbs. I count calories. It's just easier that way for me. And so start with that. Start with, aim for 200 calories per hour or something like that. And if that's too much, if you feel like you're getting sick and your stomach is sloshing around, then maybe adjust the ratio of water and gel. Like maybe there's too much water. Maybe there's not enough. Maybe you've had too many gels, and just start playing with that until you find what works for you. And then really, really test it out. Like if your target race is a 100-miler or something, like definitely like 4 to 6 weeks out, do a 50-miler, and really, really focus on your nutrition. Because at that point, you should be able to get that 50-miler done without worrying too much about the distance breaking you down. What you really need to focus on is that nutrition piece, and making sure that you're like really, really aware of what's going on. Was that too much during that 6th hour? Like when I was hiking, was it easier to get calories in when I was hiking rather than running? Just really like pay attention to that kind of stuff and work it into your training as well, for your long days. And then as you get closer to the race, it does get expensive, but you need to train your gut to be able to process food while you're running. And a lot of people don't, and then they have problems in races. I've been there before. There's been some races that I've trained for that I just was really slacked off in training the nutrition, A, because I didn't want to spend the money on it, or B, because I was just like, I'm going out for these 2-hour runs. I don't need a gel. And then you get close to the race and you get in the race, and all of a sudden you're trying to, shove food in your stomach, and stomach's not happy. So, it's just one of those things that you have to train. Like, I would never recommend somebody to open a brand new package of trekking poles the morning before their 100-miler than that they've never used trekking poles before, and I definitely wouldn't recommend people to not train their nutrition and then just show up at their race and hope that it works. So you got to work it in. You gotta make sure you practice, and then you'll be able to find something that works most of the time. And then the other side of this is that it's always going to fall apart during a 100-miler. 50-milers, a lot of times you can get through those without having too many stomach problems. But 100-milers, I've never had one where my stomach was fine the whole time. I know some people that have, but I always have to adjust and make decisions in the moment. So be prepared for it all to fall apart as well. Jonathan says, "Hey Ryan, just made it to the end. Had to get in an evening run. New shoes arrived. Nice. It's awesome. Dane Williams says, hey, Ryan, just want to say thank you for being you and being real with us always. You inspire me to be a better runner and start documenting my journey along with video editing. Nice. That's awesome. Keep up the great work. Put in the work. PITW. Awesome. Thanks, Dalen. Sarah O says, glad to hear is getting better for you. Last week was really, sorry, there's a pop-up on here. Last week was really hard for me as well. Dreaded every run. Weird. Yeah. I think it's the winter blues setting in. Yeah, that's something that, so that's another thing. I've debated like for the last couple of years, like, making a video on kind of like the, like seasonal, whatever you call it, like seasonal blues or whatever, because I definitely know that I struggle with that. And, every winter, like as we get into end of January, February, like after it's been so long that the days are so short and I'm not getting outside as much. I mean, during the summers, like I run, like most of my runs, I run with no shirt on. Like I'm just getting so much sun and it's just like so much like, whatever, vitamin D or whatever. And then the winter hits and I go a couple months with hardly any of that. And there's a lot of like emotional, physical changes that happen during that time. And so I definitely struggle with like the seasonal, I think there's an actual like term for it. There's some like seasonal blues, something like that. But yeah, it's tough, but we'll be out of it soon, hopefully. I do like something that has helped, is like there's like these daytime lights that you can get. You find them on Amazon. And I have one. I don't really use it because it's slightly annoying, but if it's something that is really important for you to, try to, like if it's something that you feel like you need to, put some work in to get out of, you can get this thing. I think the one I have is called a Happy Light. Oh, Mandy says, sad seasonal anxiety disorder. Yeah, that might be it. Or seasonal affective disorder. Laura says, Plot says seasonal effectiveness disorder. So there's a lot of names for it. But yeah, so I have this thing. It's a funny name. It's called a Happy Light, but it might help you. Find it on Amazon. You just use it like in the morning or in the afternoon for a couple minutes. You just put it up like while you're working or whatever. And it's this like color temperature, like 6,000 Kelvin or something. So it's like really white light that just shines, and you just let it hit your face and your eyes just a couple minutes every day. And it's supposed to kind of tell your body that it's getting sunlight and change things. So yeah. Jeff says, totally agree. If you're drinking your calories, when one gets off, they're both off. Yes. Yeah. We were talking about nutrition. Yeah, it's, and I was a Tailwind ambassador for 2 years, and it was great during the time, but I really struggled with that because I run throughout the year. And so, getting my calories in the winter during a run was so different than during the summer. And I was just I felt like I was having to be a chemist. Like, okay, if I put, like 6 ounces of water in 2 scoops, like, or, 40 ounces of water in 2 scoops, or the bag says 18 ounces of water. Like, I just felt like I felt like I was messing with it, and I felt like I never really got it right. So some people have great success with it though. Austin Lane says, I'm a marathon runner looking to do my first 100-mile race within the next year or so. Awesome. What race do you recommend for a first timer? Love the content, Ryan. Keep up the awesome work. Cool. Thanks, Austin. So I don't know where you live, Austin, but I would say find something close. Like, don't try to go travel to like some destination. For your first 100, ones that work really well are looped courses. well, there's two sides to this. If you're somebody who's like, you're really seeking the adventure side of it, then definitely go someplace cool. Go to a destination 100 miler. If that is going to get you going and help you train and help you finish, absolutely go do it. But if you're just like, I just really want to see what the distance is all about, and I want to do something that maybe if you need some of the extra assistance that a crew or like aid stations, stuff like that can offer. If you think that you're going to need something like that, a looped course is perfect because your crew doesn't have to bounce around a whole lot of places. You can come back to the same area all the time. Like, you get familiar with the trail. There's always going to be people around. So that's what I would recommend. Okay, you just said South Florida, no elevation down here. Yeah. Yeah. I think Florida's probably flatter than Indiana. But yeah, so I think it just depends on what you want. Like, if you're looking at a 100 miler, like, the idea out there for you is the adventure part of it. And I want to see mountains, and I want to see, I want to go out there and be in the wilderness, then do that. Because that's going to help you train better leading up to the race. And then you're going to have a blast during the race. But if that's not what it's about for you, and it's about just completing the distance, then find something that that you can easily recruit a crew for, and that they can have a good time during. Because some of these races, like when I did Grindstone, I think so. Like, my wife was my crew, and she tried to make it to. I think we just picked out 3 aid stations that she was going to come to, and none of them had cell service. So, and we also didn't realize at the time that you could download Google Maps to your phone, which is a big thing. If you're ever doing races like this, if you have the app Google Maps, you can download sections of the map and then use it offline. That's what I did for all the Triple Crown series, like when I was documenting that and everything, which was amazing. But we didn't know about that at the time. So she's out there, like, driving around, like, backcountry Virginia, trying to find these aid stations with a paper map, and it was incredibly stressful, she tells me. And then once she got to the aid station, it was like no cell service. And so it's like just asking the volunteers, like, hey, has number so-and-so come through yet? And then just sitting there for hours. So certain races are easier to crew than others. Chad says, any recurring issues with your IT band? Sounds like you had a pretty quick recovery. Do you still do specific work to prevent IT band issues? And which are your favorite? Yeah. So I do. I don't think I have like a chronic injury or anything like that, but I believe that I'm probably susceptible to it happening again if I don't pay attention to it, because I have had it show up actually at no business. It started hurting like a little bit around like mile 60. And I was kind of concerned at that point, because I was like, okay, like, if this starts going, this is going to be a really rough hike into the finish line. But I would call it more of an annoyance that happened during that race, and it only lasted for a few miles, and then it just went away. But yeah, I went to physical therapy, and that's how I was able to get rid of it in probably 6 to 8 weeks, I would say. But I warm up with like some drills, like stretches, sort of lunges, sort of things, like in the living room or something, like before I go out for a run. Or if I'm at a race, like I'll do it, like I'll just go find a open space to go work out my hips a little bit, and just get, I think, for me, it seemed like it was probably a thing of flexibility in my hips, and my hips weren't activating properly. They were probably putting too much of the load from every step on that IT band. So for me, And I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but for me, it was making sure that I activate my glutes and activate my hips and get them like really functioning properly to take the brunt of the load, because those are some of the strongest muscles in your body. I mean, that's probably the strongest joint in your body, your hip, right? Yeah, of course. I think so. That's where you want all of the work to be happening there while you're running as much as possible. You want less of it happening at your knee, around your IT band. You don't want that loading, overloading. So, okay. Second question from Chad. I appreciate your success story because I have a 100-miler in 8 weeks, having my first IT band syndrome issue. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not something that you have to stop running for if you treat it properly. If you don't do anything for it, it's going to eventually stop you, because it's just going to get worse. Because you have to figure out what the problem is. Seasonal affective. The internet confirms. Sarah O says, yeah, it just makes everything so much harder. Yeah, it really does. It's tough. Devin Ingram says, what's your occupation title? I saw you were really stressed in your past week or so. I was just curious if you don't mind telling us. Yeah, sure. I am so I work at Purdue University in the sponsored programs department. And if you haven't ever worked in a university, you might probably have never even heard of something like this. But my office is kind of where all of it's how grants happen. So it's like all of the back end with grants. I'm specifically a pre-award manager. So I'm a manager over 5 employees, and we basically help our faculty apply for grants from like National Science Foundation, everybody, DOD, DOE, stuff like that. So it can be super high stress situations when you're applying for millions of dollars worth of funding from the government for research for your faculty. And so this past week, I just had a situation where I got a very large project, kind of like an emergency project that I had to take on. And it was kind of on top of everything else I was already doing. So it was kind of like doing 2 jobs for like a whole week. And it was just like, it was really, really tough. But we made it happen. So yeah, that's what I do. And for the past, I think it was middle of March, I started working from home. Like our office, like nobody's in the office right now. So that's been nice. Purdue, like I'll have to say, Purdue University has been just like really great with making sure all of the staff like feel like they're taken care of and safe and everything. All right, couple more. I see there's the last few comments. If you got a question, drop it in the chat, and I'll be signing off here real soon. Arlene says, C&O Canal, 100 mile is 3 loops and flat. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if I would ever want to do a flat 100 miler because like during 100 milers, like I'll tell you this, like I can't wait for the climbs because I know I can just hike. I don't know, like, and I think that was like, like I'm going to be training for a more flat 100 miler in October, the Indiana Trail 100. So my training will change for that. And I'm really excited about that. But Ben Bosey says, just got into Leadville. Nice. Any advice for my first 100 miler? Oh, wow. I live locally, so not concerned about the altitude. Good. That was my first thing I was going to say. Yeah, that race is really cool. There's a lot of really steep climbs. So there's also a lot of flat running in it. If you live in the area, Yeah, I'm trying to think advice specifically for that race. The cutoff time at halfway is pretty stout. Like a lot of people got cut off at halfway the year I went there. I think the cutoff for 50 miles is like 14 hours or something. And then I think you get 16 to finish the second half. But yeah, I was pacing when I was there, and so I picked up my runner John at 50 miles, and then we headed back. But we by the time when I knew on my watch that it was cutoff time, we were still passing tons of people that were trying to make it to that aid station, and who still had maybe an hour to go. So I know a lot of people got cut off at halfway the year I did it. So I would say, look at your elevation profile, look at your splits, and just make sure you get to halfway in good shape, but with some time to spare so that you can make sure that you get aid. I would also say if the race is still set up the same way as last year, tell your crew to leave a couple hours before they think they should to get to that halfway point, because it was the worst 10-mile road I've ever drove on. It took 2 hours to go 10 miles. Plus we were in traffic. Everybody trying to get to this aid station that was in the middle of nowhere. But it's beautiful. I mean, take your cell phone or a GoPro and take some pictures, especially up over Hope Pass. It's, yeah, some of those views are just absolutely jaw dropping. So yeah, it's good. It's a great race. Thanks for joining, Jeff. See you later. All right. Let's see. I'm going to get out of here, guys. I've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up. Whoa, 63 people watching right now. Thank you guys for joining. That's awesome. But yeah, I will see you guys all next week. Thank you so much for joining. I will have in the next day or two my video out from my run on Saturday. And then also hopefully this week I will get out my first impressions video on the Hoka Torrent 2 trail running shoe. That was a really fun shoe to run in. So swing back on by for that. But yeah, with that, I'll see you guys again later. Thank you so much for joining. This was a fun one. Lots of really good questions, lots of really fun stuff going on in the chat. So thank you guys, and I will see you again next week.